It's nice when I can ride my bike in new and different areas. It's even nicer when someone organises it for me. Stephen and Gary must take the credit for arranging our trip, planning our routes and locating our base at Bushy Heath Farm, Bunkhouse, not far from Tideswell. With David we made 4, and we were to be joined by 5th rider Rob, who was staying down the road at the local village. In these videos I want to share my love of cycling, exploring local history, the beauty of the countryside and the camaraderie and friendships that come from riding with others. Good morning from not so sunny Derbyshire, out for a few days with a couple of friends from the Eyam Velo Club, exploring the hills of the Peak District. We came up to the Peak District yesterday. We're up here for 3 days of riding. The weather forecast is not the best, but the main thing is it's dry. One very noticeable thing though is just quite how windy it is this morning. Today's ride is about 65-70 kilometres. It's just a warmer into the bank, so Stephen Gidney tells me, but we'll soon find out. Morning, Steve.
Hello.
So what's today's route and how far are we going?
We're going to Eyam, Castleton. I think 65 kilometres and lots of climbing.
And lots of climbing.
Looking forward to it.
We've got Gary.
Good morning. Lots of up.
Lots of up this morning, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got David.
Morning.
Good morning, David. How are you feeling?
Great at the moment. Another 5 minutes, I might not going to say. Great to be out in the scene.
It is, isn't it? Let's get going. Morning, Rob.
Morning.
How you doing?
All right, thanks. And you?
Yeah, good to see you. You up for some climbing?
Well, apparently.
I don't think there's any apparently about it, is there?
Yeah.
It's happening.
So far it's been mostly downhill, so that's slightly disconcerting.
Having met up with Rob outside the Red Lion pub in the village of Lytton, we were off again in search of hills. Beautiful countryside, very different from Norfolk, very rolling, and all the fields have got these fantastic looking natural stone walls. It wasn't long before we found our first proper climb at Monsal Head. The first climb, short and sharp, just come up this little valley here. Time to take off the warm gear.
The climb starts in the Monsal Dale, ascending 56 metres of elevation at an average of 9%, but as the hill bends around to the right, the gradient picks up to 20%. The climb finishes outside the Monsal Head Hotel with spectacular views of the Headstone Viaduct over the River Wye, which now forms part of the Monsal Trail Cycleway. The Monsal Head Hill Climb event is an annual race attracting riders from around the country and big crowds who spectate this popular event, which was first ran in the year 1930.
I hope we paused this so there wasn't such a big gap.
Getting into the climbing now, folks. Look at that. But what goes up must come down, at least from time to time. Allez. Okay. Next right turn.
Our route twisted and turned over the open countryside. We felt free and energised from our surroundings, swooping across the fields like birds. The fun of riding my bike, especially in a group, never diminishes, and I couldn't help dreaming that I was a professional cyclist in a Grand Tour peloton. It matters not how old you are. Riding your bike resonates with our childhood memories. On a day like this, I am a boy once again. The road dropped down into the village of Eyam for a brief stop.
Well, that's good. Quick water stop at Water Lane. Oh, what's this place called?
Eyam.
Eyam. E-Y-A-M.
Yeah, and it was one of the first lockdown plague villages.
Actually locked down the village, the whole
Yeah.
nobody in, nobody out. So in historical terms, it's one of the
First ever lockdown.
Yeah.
And they had a post, wasn't there, where they'd leave money.
They'd leave stuff from
They'd
the
leave
outskirts.
money and people would leave supplies from the outside. So that they could still eat.
Just called them on the mobile.
Many people die of the plague.
It was the first Deliveroo, I think.
And we think we have it bad.
Having discovered that Eyam was a bubonic plague lockdown village in the year 1665, we departed, and once again our route was uphill.
Just leaving Eyam. Apparently that's how you pronounce it. Hope I've done it justice. We're starting the climb known as the Edge. Oh, that looks like a long old ramp.
Having descended the Edge, we found our way north, up the A6013, on a convenient cycleway on this busy road. We were looking to cross the River Derwent westward at the Ladybower Dam. Ladybower is a large, Y-shaped reservoir, the lowest of three in the upper Derwent Valley, the higher two being the Howden and Derwent reservoirs. The Ladybower was built between 1935 and 1943. The dam's design is unusual in having two totally enclosed bell-mouth overflows, locally named the plug holes. The reservoir is approximately 4 kilometres long with a surface area of 520 acres and holds 27 million cubic metres of water. During the Second World War, the Derwent Reservoir was used by the pilots of 617 Squadron for practicing the low-level flights in Lancaster bombers needed for Operation Chastise, commonly known as the Dam Buster raids, using the bouncing bomb invented by Sir Barnes Wallis.
We've been going fairly leisurely Just enjoying the scenery and acclimatising our Norfolk legs to these Derbyshire hills. And according to the GPS, we've done 45 kilometres, so we're doing all right. I think we might be ahead of schedule. It's been a fantastic ride this morning. It's 11:45. I'm beginning to think about my lunch. But as we enter Edale, we've got one more hurdle. We're going to climb up and over the edge of Mam Tor. Then we're going to drop into Castleton for some lunch. Here comes a big climb, folks. This is the big climb. We're going to go up here. I'm not sure if you can quite see the route. Meanders all the way up to that saddle. That looks like quite an impressive climb. Just take a moment to get my breath, admire the scenery, because in a minute I'm going to be redlining it, and all I'm going to look at is that tarmac. It's not quite Norfolk.
Climbing hills on a bike is both pleasure and pain. The reward of a fantastic view and the knowledge that you'd achieved the summit come at the cost of the effort that you must put in to keep going up to the top.
Oh my God. Time to suffer on the bike.
Hill climbing is your personal fight with gravity, so the lighter and more powerful you are, the quicker you can go up. It's important to find your own rhythm. This is a combination of your power output and cadence, or the speed of rotating your pedals. The correct gearing on your bike can assist you in keeping relatively high cadence, which is considered more comfortable than slow grinding, and this usually means getting bigger cogs on your rear cassette. During the climb, it seemed to take all my effort just to keep the pedals turning. The view behind me was opening up as I ascended with every pedal stroke, but the effort blinded me to the beauty as I focused on the slope ahead.
Not far to go. All of a sudden the wind has died down. We've all got our own pace, so it's not a race.
The fact is, climbing steep hills will test your physical and mental strength.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's what we're doing it for. Oh boy, that was hard work. But look at the view.
Best thing was just coming through that gap and the wind.
Yeah, that's right. Just at that top, the wind suddenly dropped, didn't it?
Just channeled it down.
Yeah. How'd you find that?
Hard.
Very hard.
So dead.
What's that hill called?
Mam Nick.
Mam Nick.
That's Mam Tor,
That's Mam Tor.
and that's Mam Nick because it's a
Mam Nick.
Nick.
Cool.
Man Nick.
That's one off the bucket list.
Drunk with me.
Monsal Head's on that list as well.
Let's go and get some lunch.
After a somewhat perilous descent through the Winnets Pass, it was to the George pub at Castleton for lunch.
And the last
Our lunch break was a lovely social occasion where we could reward ourselves with a well-deserved meal and swap stories.
I went down there, it was like being in Vietnam, because they've made a hole and laid a load of sort of dry grass across the top, and I just vanished down this hole. I hear this giggling coming from the hedge.
Tunnel rats.
I said, I'm going to do something with this.
That concludes this video and day one. Thanks very much for watching.